And Brighton, Mike Felger here. Tony Maserati alongside. How you doing, Anthony?
Good, you?
Yeah. Average at best. We have Jim Murray in the Update studio, Jim Stewart behind the glass as usual. So regular show crew here, and Billy Lanny, our Director of Communications, will be on the phones. That's the guy you'll be calling at 617-779-0985. We will take your reaction early and often and have an open forum on whatever you want to say to me or us or whatever you want. So, Jimmy, you can release the phones immediately, 617-779-0985. I obviously have to start, Maz, with following up from yesterday's Roy Halladay commentary after his death. And so I'll just say I've just jotted a few notes, and I'll just say what I got to say, and then we'll open it up to the people. And that's that. In a nutshell, I would say that I feel bad about what happened on a lot of levels. I feel bad about what I said and how I conducted myself. I feel bad about that. To say it was over the top or insensitive is really stating the obvious. It's really not saying much to saying it was insensitive or over the top. It was obviously those things. I could come in and say, I apologize if I offended anyone, but that's fake and hollow, and everyone hates that, don't you? Isn't that the worst when someone comes in and says that? Besides, the only folks that I would really want to extend that to are the loved ones of Halladay. They're the ones dealing with enough right now not to have me come over the top and do what I did yesterday. So, sorry doesn't do that justice as it relates to them. And, that one's going to stick with me for a while as it relates to them. I would also apologize to the folks that I work with here at CBS Radio and NBC Sports for having to put up with what's happened in the last 24 hours. I haven't put through the ringer in an answer for my poor judgment yesterday. Like, for example, there was a bad line I had yesterday about rooting for the wall against Dale Earnhardt. I know what NASCAR means to a lot of people on our TV side, what it means to them. And so that was just that was dumb hyperbole on my part. I meant part of what I said yesterday, and there's parts I didn't mean. It was just dumb hyperbole. The Earnhardt thing falls in that second category. It was just dumb. Just dumb hyperbole. I didn't mean that. But there is stuff that I did mean. But the presentation and the tone and the hyperbole was just low class, bad, not good. I don't feel good about it. So, that's really about it. I regret what happened yesterday. And when I say what happened, I regret my conduct yesterday. I believe what I believe. I do. But again, the tone and the hysterics were really uncalled for. And to say inappropriate and over the line is just stating the obvious. They're clearly those things and really goes without saying. And that's pretty much it. There is, I have no defense. I have no explanation. I'm not asking for any sympathy or break or anything, because I think what I've gotten is I deserved. I deserve what I've gotten in the last day or so. But there's just one little piece that I do want to, if not clarify, just play for you. And just one element to this story, because when you've heard this story and the first thing that you've heard and the thing that, the headline is what? Felger says Halladay deserves to die, right? Like that was the first Deadspin headline. And there's been subsequent headlines, and that's pretty much what everyone says. Even in my defense, I've heard Hardy and Zoe earlier today, saying we agree with 90% of what Felger said, but we don't think he deserves to die. So that's really the takeaway. The deserves to die line. Roy Halladay deserves to die, which wasn't said, but was in that Deadspin headline. And so that's really the focal point of the whole thing. I want to play you what was said that related to that and what was said, and just let you hear it again. And not asking for your sympathy, or it's not a defense, but just so you know what was said and how it was said, in its full context. There came to a point in my diatribe where I said that if I died in a similar fashion, I don't deserve any sympathy either. That if I died helicopter skiing, that you could do to me what I'm doing to Halladay. He got what he deserved, okay? And so he got what he deserved, I think is the line. I was speaking about me in the third person. If I was that guy, you deserve to do to me what I'm doing. He, meaning me. So again, that's what I meant. How it came across is my fault. And to some extent, it's within my control. But anyway, I just want to play the sound of where that line came from, and you can make up your own mind. And you've all done it. You've ever gotten on a little plane with a friend?
Oh, I think it's the end every time. I hate those things.
Oh, my God.
I won't get on him. I won't get on.
I did it once. I said, what the F are you doing, Felger? And if I had died doing that, you don't need to have sympathy for me. Idiot, my fault. I went helicopter skiing once. I got off that thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
If I die helicopter skiing, you have the right out there to do the exact same thing I'm doing to Roy Halladay. He got what he deserved. So I'm talking about me there. Now, again, I'm not telling you that I've been treated unfairly because the parts of that diatribe were so over the top and the overall tonality was so bad that I deserve whatever headline I get. But that's, just so you know, that's where the Roy Halladay deserves to die line came from, which wasn't said quote unquote, and I was referring to me with that line. Now, there's maybe 20 other lines in that rant that you could pick out and make a bad headline out of, and you put in quotes, and I'd feel bad about those too. But since that's the one that's at the front of everyone's mind and on everyone's lips, I just thought I'd play that little piece for you, and it's up to you whether you. I'm telling you, I was talking about me, not him.
The other thing,
but again, that's up to you. Yes, Jim.
Just real quick, the only other thing that's been misconstrued in that is that people are taking you as clapping. That sound effect that you hear there, what you were doing is wiping your hands clean.
Wiping my hands of me is what I meant, and what I think is kind of clear in that cut. But if you don't buy that, that's up to you. I'm not telling you to. You can believe what you want to believe, and the rest of it was inappropriate enough where you don't have to give me the benefit of the doubt. But that's just one little piece that I wanted to play. Otherwise, you can let me have it. We can do that as long as you want. I do want to get to some other things today. If we can get to it, we'll get to it. But I'm not going to duck any of this. All the media people who've been calling me, love you, mean it. The guy that just shouted at me in the parking lot, my first perp walk. You can email us your questions, and I'll do it on the air. You want a live press conference? You want to ask me the questions you would ask me on camera? I'll do it right here. So email us. Jimmy, where should they email or tweet or text or whatever?
I guess do it to the Felger and Maz Twitter account. It's at Felger and Maz on Twitter, and we can go through that.
Okay. So,
I mean, I'd mention your other venture, but I can't do it on the radio.
No, we're not going to do that today. So, I mean, you can if you want. You can do my other venture, which I can't mention on the radio. You can do it wherever you want. If you're a media person who's been trying to get a hold of me, I'll do it here. I'll answer your questions here on the air, live. I don't know how we patch you in or something, but just get me your question.
I can filter through the mentions.
Okay, so I'll answer it here. And any of you out there who just have a thought, by all means, let's go. You can do it. Maz or Murray, do you want to say anything else?
So I'll just say that the thing I regret is not getting in the way. I regret not reining you in.
It's not your responsibility.
So that part I regret. I mean, we sit here together and have for 8+ years, and generally speaking, and it's never 100%, but I know where you're coming from and I know what you're about. So I know what you mean. Unfortunately, not everyone else does. So I regret not getting in the way.
Okay, so there's that. We'll get to you right after Jim Rome gives us a take. It's the CBS Sports Minute broadcast.
Got a big wig, giant big wig, sitting high upon my head. Workers Credit Union helps me get loans and save some bread. I get low fees, I get great rates, I'm a member through and through. With free checking and mobile banking, rocking big wigs is what I do.
Workers Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA, Access Insurance Center, Mass Share Insurance Corporation, Equal Housing Lender. Contact the credit union for membership details.